Well, gentlemen, it's January 1st, 2023, believe it or not.
Crazy.
It just came pretty quickly. And when you think about how fast a year goes, we thought, it'd be a great idea for us to sit down and maybe share a little bit about what God did this year at Coppell Bible Fellowship. If you think back through January of 2022, anything surprise you this year? Or, we thought we were going this way, he went this way, but it was amazing, it was awesome.
We got the opportunity to get Michael on the team. Mm-hmm. That was a huge surprise and a real blessing to all of us. It's just been exciting. He's a great teammate. You've already made an impact, and it's been delightful. Really
I love
appreciate
being on
it.
the team, and I hope you're right. I hope we talk about the same thing, 2024, the great surprise of the year.
That you're still on staff?
Still here, going strong.
It was that process was really cool because it was one of those things where it's like, okay, everything God's lining up here, I don't see anything that would be bad, only good and only great. So Michael, let's talk about it. Your first year, the first 6 months, your life radically changes. How has God just kind of blessed you guys through that?
It's been interesting because I have preached probably 4, maybe 5 times or so over the last couple of years, so I knew the church well and we attend. Mm-hmm. But I think the way it moved is it aligns perfectly with Allie and I's my personality. Yeah. I remember on our rehearsal dinner day, that night, people got up to talk, to say things about us, and this friend of ours got up and he said, what I love about Michael and Allie? Mm-hmm. And at the time, what he's about to say, it didn't register. I was thinking, what? That doesn't make sense. But as I've thought about it, I'm like, well, it totally does. He goes, I love that they hear the Lord and they just go. Mm-hmm. They don't ask a lot of questions. They just go. And he's mainly saying that because we were dating for 3 months, got engaged, 3 months later got married. So it was real fast. But he was just saying that. Yeah, exactly. That's my point, though. It's the same thing. And so I think for us, it wasn't necessarily this crazy life change that we thought, what are we going to do? It actually, 90 seconds from my house is where the church is. Mm-hmm. It felt as my backyard. I've been going to this church, I've been preaching on stage some. So I felt like it was a natural fit. And then I knew most of y'all and obviously knew you just from Young Life stuff. And it's been fun. The thing that really changed for me is when I got on staff and I started knowing the rest of the team and the ladies, in the office, and then the deacons and the elders and all those things that came. And it has been a shift, if there's been a major one, of a parachurch ministry to a church ministry, parachurch ministry to a church ministry. And I remember saying to Barkev, I think after the first time I preached, right before he took off on sabbatical, perfect timing, was it'll be interesting to see how the Lord changes my heart to understand how to be a better shepherd when I communicate, how to have that heart for people, which takes time to build it because it comes from relationships. Mm-hmm. And so it was something that I hadn't thought about. I preached, you kind of assess, how did you do? And that was the thought that was in my mind. I thought, well, this is interesting because I never really felt like a pastor. But the first time I spoke on stage as a pastor, it was after that where it really dawned on me, like, this is it. Like, this has happened. And we've had, crazy things, great things, a lot of people coming, figuring things out, just going all in. And it's been such a fun season. So we love it. And yes, we had a baby and renovating a house and all those crazy things, but we still wouldn't change any of it. It's been so great.
Here's something I want everybody at the table to think about. If you go back to January, you reflect on January 1st, 2022, all the way up to December 31st, 2022. If you had to pick, let's say, 3 or fewer words to describe the year, what would you call it? Brent?
I think that our people are engaging in worship. Yeah. From my perspective on the stage, a lot more people are not just staring or like just watching. Yeah. They're actually participating, and that's been really encouraging to me and my whole team. That has been huge, but it's also been partnering with Cross Chapel. Has really filled a big gap in our worship band. And that's been really, really cool just to get to know them and that God's provided players and singers.
Yeah. I would say the same. I was saying, what's another word other than engaging? And then you kind of hit on it saying living missional. And I think about our sermon series, the DNA that we did a couple months ago. And I'm sitting there thinking, we talked about living on mission. And I've really seen that just even in my short stint here at CBF, that there is this heart and this desire to serve, not out of duty, not out of, oh, they just asked me again and I got to, but a willingness to just jump in because they know that's what the Lord's wanting them to do and calling them to do. And they're doing it. And you have these great stories like the Good News Club stuff that you're starting up, et cetera, and October Fair, all these people, when we had to shift it all, you guys remember, you move everything the day of, and we're just calling people, and they're like, hey, we are in this, because we know what this means, and this is impactful to our community. And then we have the international stuff, so to the world around us. So living on mission and just seeing our church, our folks doing that, that's sweet.
I've got 3, teaming, energy, fun. Those are my 3 words.
Nice.
I feel like every area of our church is teaming better. We still have a lot to do to get there everywhere we want to be as far as teaming, so that nobody feels like the weight is weighing on them. And I'm not just talking about staff, I'm talking about the body as a whole, those who are serving, the deacons, deaconesses, the elders, and then the body at large. But there's a lot of energy. Both first and second service is a lot more energy. It's fun. I think we have a lot of new people who are like, oh, you guys are really here, you know, and that's fun. And I'm just having fun with you guys. It's really, Susan and I talk about this. This is a sweet season that we are in because of where the church is, where our family is. It's a very sweet season.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think if I had to think of something, it kind of ties with everything you guys have said, and I'm gonna say the word infectious, and this is why. When I think about, we did the church-wide survey, and there's all sorts of good things that come out of that, and there's all sorts of things you want to improve upon. But the thing that really stood out, and even from the guys who did the survey for us and kept coming back, was that our church has a very firm grasp of our message and understanding who we are. And I think that is really special, because you can spend a lot of time trying to do that, that if you can't get that across, all these other things can't happen.
Right, absolutely.
And so as we are poised to see what's coming in 2023 and all this awesome stuff, and people are getting on mission, which I love that phrase, I got to go back to the fact that people truly do engage with the clear message of the gospel when it's clear and simple. They jump on board, they grab it, they understand it, and it is truly a transformation of life where your priorities change, your perspective changes, and we've used this phrase: you become what God is about. You become about what God is about. I think that's where we are sitting on the edge right now, maybe even over the edge. I maybe we're not on the edge, but we think about ourselves sitting on that corner. You go into a year thinking what could happen, and I often wonder if we don't think big enough about what's going to happen. Something super special about that.
Yeah.
Well, I right when I came on staff is when we did the survey results, and my wife and I did the survey because we were members. But I didn't think about the results, or even if I'd ever see them.
Yeah.
And then I come on staff, it was like week 1. Hey, we're survey results. And it was interesting because that's where I met Ted. And I just remember Ted saying something like, man, you guys at your church, I've done this with hundreds of churches, but you guys at your churches have something special at your core. He goes, you have a great gift. And I love that. And I remember thinking, yeah, obviously my wife and I felt that when we attended for the first time, just to see what CBF was about when Steve was taking the job. And we drove 90 seconds to our house going, what is it about that church? Man, we are in. And so I felt that, but then being on staff, I start to hear the stories and see it and see what it's about. And it's this great group of people who just get it. And it's infectious, as you said. And I've realized that so much in the last 8 months.
And I think that's to that point is now what is 2023? 2023 is to not let it fizzle out.
Yeah.
You get to a point where things are really good, but you now have to think, okay, how do we keep going? How do we keep it better?
There is a rhythm of life that God intends for us to have. And it's easy, particularly in ministry, to get off rhythm because it's a 24/7 kind of scenario. I mean, you feel both the joy and the weight of it. And then to remember, wait a minute, this will not be done well. God will not be able to use me well if I'm not living in a rhythm of life. So the idea of remembering we're loved, choosing to make sure that when we live life, understand that we're loved, that's the basis point. Because then you can handle anything knowing that God is always there for you because he chooses to be. This is still the reality. If you belong to the Lord, this is how you want to live. Make sure you know you're loved so that everything comes out of that basis point, and then be listening to him, and then looking for that opportunity that he would use you in his strength, not in your own.
Brian,
Yes.
2022 for you was a significant life shift.
Yeah.
You stopped living off homemade quesadillas.
Yep. Oh, I thought you were talking about the new fishing rod I got.
No,
Okay.
I was talking about you.
You mean that other thing?
You
Okay,
turned in
yeah.
your amateur status and went pro.
I got married,
You
and
did
that
get
was the highlight of my life. It was amazing. So yeah, married Sarah and love her to death. It's been amazing. We we're not even a year in, and it's awesome though. Feels very natural. Thank the Lord for it every day. And
How many of us knew that he was going to marry Sarah before he did? Just raise your hand. Okay, thank you very much. We can move on.
How many of us told him he needs to marry Sarah before?
How many of us walked into my office every day and said, "So tell me what's going on with this guy?"
We have derailed already. Look at that. Just being able to do ministry together with students, and having students come to our wedding and be able to enjoy that and celebrate that with us has been really special. And so, that just makes everything sweeter, overall. And it's cool to see those relationships with the students and have them be able to enjoy that with us. It's a fun thing for sure.
What was your favorite moment in 2022?
When Barkev came back.
Gosh, it is so tough because I'm the guy that's like, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, okay, I will go top 3 and I'll pick genres because I can't do just one.
I like that.
So it's really tough. I will say I am a fall guy. Like I love the fall time. And that's when Barkev was back, and it felt like our team was really, so for me being new, it felt like our team, and we went on retreat, we did all those things, and we had Christmas stuff. And I just love that season. And of course, we had Jovi in September, and so now, you're finally sleeping through the night a little bit. And I just feel like this past fall and holiday season is just so special because it feels like the team is rolling on all cylinders, and the people, there's so many new people. Do you remember we used to do communion every week in October?
Yeah.
And all the people, you just sit there and go, oh, I know them. Wait, who's that? Wait, who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that? And it just seems so sweet and special. And so it's just been fun. There's so many, but I would say if I had to pick one, it would be that season, like this exact moment, if I can do that.
I think for me, in 2022, it was because of COVID in 20 and in 21, like we had to go online.
Yeah.
And so we were just, we were buying equipment that none of us knew how to run. And I remember Seth, one of our singles, he was serving in the booth doing lights. And so I'm up there before a service and I'm trying to tell our volunteer camera guys, hey, now make sure you get this shot. And from the light booth, Seth says, have you done the white balance on those cameras? And I'm like, first of all, what is white balance?
Let's start there.
Second of all, how do you know that? So I said, do you know anything about cameras? He goes, yeah. Like, well, why are you running lights? And so it ended up him coming on part-time for us and really handling all of our online. And I felt like just when we got it going, he walks in, he goes, hey, I've got a job offer back where my mom and dad are in Minnesota, so I'm going to be going.
Which is why he's never allowed back in the church.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one we have security now. Because
Seth is not allowed to be there.
But
Just kidding.
We love you, Seth.
yeah, we love you. Well, thanks for quitting. Yeah, so it put me, because that's my responsibility.
Yeah.
And now I have all this gear, and once again, I have no one that even knows how to do it. And so, I just went to the Lord and said, Lord, like I do musicians, I go during the week, sometimes I stand on the stage where I need a bass player and go, Lord, I need you to fill this spot. or go to the lead guitar. I need you to fill this spot. And he's been so faithful to do that. So I'm like, Lord, we got all this video stuff. Our people are starting to respond to it. Visitors, guests are watching it. They're coming. And now I don't have anybody. And so I just went to the Lord, and I was spending my Wednesday mornings with another pastor, just mentoring and encouraging him. And he had never asked me this before, but as we got ready to leave, he's like, hey, how can I pray for you? And I was like, I need a video guy. He goes, oh, I got your guy. I go, you do? And he brought us Daniel. And man, it's been awesome. You know, I mean, he's the brains and the creativity and all the stuff behind this, because we're just pastors. You know,
Yeah, we don't know nothing.
we don't know nothing.
We still don't know what white balance is.
I still can't define white balance.
I'm locking the front door.
Man, I look back, I'm like, you know what? God is faithful. He's just, and I know that, and we say that, and then sometimes you kind of act like, I think he is, and then he does something like that, and just like, oh man, he's faithful. It's like, you know, we have such a track record with him. It's like, why in the world will we ever doubt him? You know, so I look back at 2022, and it's like, yeah, he's faithful.
This is not something I usually share. Maybe I have it to some. You know, I've been here 5 years, crossed my 5-year, I believe it was July anniversary here at Coppell. And, you know, when you're in ministry a lot, you move between churches or you move different places. And you know, there's always been this kind of sense for me personally of, okay, where do I belong? And this year was really special in that, because I had, it was a weird year for me because I was doing all these weddings and premarital counseling, and I was doing weddings out of town, and I was doing, and then in the middle of all that, most everybody knows Kim got injured with this, you know, this really bad fall, and for a while I felt like I was kind of outside of everything going on at the church. But it was in the midst of all these weddings and these relationships, and some of these weddings were people that we met the day they walked into our church for the first time, and in a short amount of time we've got this close relationship where they want to do this. But at the same time, when Kim was injured, by the time we got her into her room at the hospital, we had enough meals for a month. I don't think we made a meal until July. Her accident was in April. I don't think we made a meal till July. And you know, you're going through these difficult times, and you're able to just look at each other, Kim and I both, and say, man, this is home. This is home, and this is where we belong, and there's no question that this is where we need to be. And sometimes what it takes is, you know, God knocking on your head and going, hey, remember this privilege here, this care here that was given to you. That's me saying something to you, to stop doubting that, because I am using you, and I am doing some pretty amazing things for you and teaching you things. So for me, those were the cool things, these weddings. And as much as I hate to see, you know, my wife injured, to watch the response was just floored us both. So
Awesome. Sweet. I just think the camaraderie that we have even around this table, I think the way we work well together, we like each other. There's no confusion on who's doing what and why, and the integrity that each one of you shows. It's fun to be the guy who's, you know, helping to orchestrate the exec team and see you guys with such high integrity. It makes it so easy. There were so many years when I was the Lone Ranger. To be in this season is amazing. It's an amazing thing. I hope I hope you guys recognize what a blessing it is to be in this such scenario. There are a lot of guys in ministry who don't stay long, and this is why. Because they don't experience this, but you have it. So you talking about belonging, it's just delightful to have this team. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, you can't say Sarah because you already said her.
Yeah, you already said
we know
Sarah.
that's the
already know that.
climax
You gotta
of
pick
it.
another
Oh, we
one.
got it.
Pick another one.
What's number 2?
Sarah, we love you. We appreciate you, but he's got to pick something else.
Either pick 1A or number 2.
Yeah, man. Gosh. I'm thinking through different seasons of the year. Doing student ministry, I loved our student retreat that we took in the spring. Especially just the chance to get away, and we took the students' phones away for a couple days, and it was like difficult at first for the students.
All about it.
We told the parents we were going to do it. The students didn't know, but we told the parents, and it was like, they struggled with it at first, understandably, but I mean, every one of them was saying, man, it was refreshing to have 2 days kind of unplugged, away from all the noise and the busyness and kind of the chaos of everyday life and stuff. And that was a good reminder for me with student ministry of just, seeking to shepherd students in their walks with the Lord. It was a great experience just being able to build relationships with those kids and the other leaders. We had an awesome team of leaders be able to come on that, which was really very cool experience. But it just, just reinforced some things on the importance in today's day and age of helping kids get out of the craziness of social media and all the things that get thrown at you every single day, and to get that time with the Lord, to get that time away to be in His Word, to be in prayer, to be in fellowship with other believers. So that was a really good reminder, I'd say. And again, I'd go back to what I said before, just some of the doing outreach with students and seeing them. We've done some outreach in a local apartment complex around here, and we're looking to do more in this upcoming year. And being able to do that with students and seeing leaders get involved, seeing parents get involved, it really energizes me, just because that's what it's all about. We can so easily be consumers, where we're taking in a sermon, where we're taking in, things like that. But to get outside the walls of the church and be like, all right, hey, you're gonna meet people that you don't know, and you're gonna meet, and you're gonna have to, serve these little kids and do simple things like lead them through a game, or even just going door to door and inviting people to an event. And having to talk to a stranger, those are things that kind of take you out of your comfort zone. But it's really cool to walk through stuff like that with students, and to see them go from kind of fear or apprehension initially to then excitement, and they're like, "Man, I love this. This is great." And so that's a big discipleship piece that I really believe in, and it's exciting to see that. That was more than one thing, but
That's cool. Hey,
things.
I'm glad that glad you had a good year, because I would hate to sit there and think, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so January 1st, 2023, we want to be here. January 1st, 2024. Think about the future. We're sitting there then. We're looking back. What do you want to be able to say about 2023? What is it that's on the horizon that you're just sitting there holding on to, saying, Lord, we feel like this is where you're taking us, and please, 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 we want to see that come to fruition. What do you guys think that would be?
Well, I'm excited about the fact that the world has opened up again,
Yes.
and that we're going to be able to take people on mission again. They'll be on mission trips so that they understand what being on mission is all about, and we'll take that back and bring that back where they are, be on mission right where they are in Coppell or Louisville or Carrollton or Grapevine or Irving, wherever it is they're coming from, to come with us and be part of the community that God has here at Coppell Bible Fellowship. But I'm looking forward to seeing some young parents have some of their children on mission, and watching them experience the joy that Susie and I have experienced through the years, and keeping that going, and just seeing it expand.
That's awesome.
I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about you guys coming on mission, and not
bringing ours.
not that you've never been before, but my chance to watch you be on mission and to see what God's doing there, and to press into that, what I really believe is one of the most powerful discipleship tools we have, is an opportunity to take people on short-term mission, especially young adults and teenagers, it expands their horizon. Like I've said before, we only grow and develop as people by three different things: the people we meet, the books we read, and the places we go. And we get to go back to the places we go again. So I'm very excited and look forward to looking back on that.
You know what? I really just personally, I have this thing, that like I'm as I get older, I just want to be faithful. Yeah. It's like whatever it is, I've done a lot in my life, so I don't care. I don't have a dog in a fight. I just want to be faithful, but I also want to walk with Him in a way that I'm expecting, like Lord, what are you going to do? What are you,
Yeah.
So if it means just seeing somebody really connecting with us on a Sunday through worship, or seeing worship team members or tech team people really growing in their faith, and it's like, man, and I really want to see that in other people. So I'm praying for that, because like I do, like this team, like I know so many church staff and pastors, and some days they would rather go anywhere but to work. And I mean, I'm in year 11, and I'm like, I just can't wait to get to work every day. I love what we do. I love you guys. It is a brotherhood, and it's just like what we have is very, very rare. So I just really want to steward that well and get as many people that are under my ministry as far as worship and tech and video and stuff, just experience that, like to catch that fire, and like, man, I love serving. I love serving no matter what, and I tell all my young guys, if you're too big for a small job, you're too small for a big job. This is about serving.
Yeah.
And it gets back to that integrity issue, which is so fun to have such confidence in your teammates.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't have to, there's no micromanaging needed here.
Right.
Everybody truly is allowing the Holy Spirit to manage them, and it's fun. It's fun.
I think if we're here in a year from now, 2024, January 1, I think the word impact is in my mind, in the sense of it's something about it this year. I just feel like we are primed and ready to have impact that we've not had before. And not just because of going on mission, and mission trips, though that's an aspect. But you see things like you getting Good News Club, really having a heart for Town Lake Apartments and doing stuff there. And we're just getting in the community more, our people, and really obviously because COVID's also kind of an afterburner, it's kind of gone. So you just kind of go, we are able to now do this and feel like what we were before COVID. And so I just feel like people are at a place, and our church is at a place, and the inner team here and the elders, we understand what's going on, and we're just ready to go and do things. And so I just think about even the short time I've been on staff and the stories I've heard or got to witness. I just feel that's going to be doubled or tripled or quadrupled coming into a year from now, just sitting back where we're like, we would have never guessed what would happen this year in the best way possible. And so I just think there's this impact, this springboard that we literally today, January 1, are going to launch off of. And I'm excited to be on it with y'all. Awesome. It's going to be great.
For student ministry, just really excited to see our youth ministry continue to grow in unity with one another. Just be, we have kids coming from lots of different schools, lots of different areas. It's not all from like one school. So a lot of times, it's not like they're seeing each other every day because they're in different districts or whatever. And so just continuing to grow and to foster that unity in our youth group, and that invitational spirit where a new kid comes in, you invite them into what you're doing, welcome them in, getting kids serving in some of the local outreach opportunities we have. I'm really excited to see some kids hopefully come to Amazon. That'd be an awesome opportunity to get some of our students living on mission for that. And and I'd say, with student ministry, just a big discipleship piece we're continuing just to emphasize in our teaching and our everything we do really is just learning to listen to what God has to say, to embrace the Lord's authority to define who you are and to define what you were created for. Because again, there's just so much thrown at us in the world today, so much noise, and especially that's something that gets thrown at teenagers a lot today. And man, like Sarah and I have said so many times, gosh, I'm like so thankful that I'm not a teenager right now, because it's a tough world. And so, but it's not a world that's too big for God. I mean, it's not like God can't help students navigate that well. But we just really want to be faithful, like Brent, you said, just continue to be faithful to disciple middle school and high school students to really embrace God's authority, to embrace His Word, and to let that define who they are and what they were created for, instead of all the things that pull at them, popularity and all the just stuff you hear in the world that can get you sidetracked.
It's 2023.
That's crazy.
Coppell Bible Fellowship. God has blessed us, and as we're getting ready to wrap up, but mine is, it's gonna sound weird, I want us to be content yet restless.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That we are content and recognize the blessing God has given us, but we're restless to always do the best with what He's given us, and never complacent.
So 2024, let's go.
We'll see you in a year.
See you in a year.
See you guys in a year.
By the way, we're going on sabbatical. Brent, you got it?
Yeah. That's the other thing I was talking about. Yeah.
Let's stand and sing again.
Yeah. 2023.